Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic Friday and have got a nice weekend planned ahead of you, despite the current market action. This is going to be a short and sweet video, guys. We did say we were going to give a tutorial on SundaeSwap where I was going to do a live demonstration of how to swap, provide liquidity, and so on and so forth. But of course, when SundaeSwap enabled swaps yesterday, there would have been no point in me making a video because those swaps wouldn't have gone through, and there's a lot of congestion with the network, which was to be expected. SundaeSwap did give everyone a warning. In fact, they even wrote an article on it explaining that this was going to be the case given the volume and the current state of Cardano's layer 1 blockchain. So what I'm going to do in this one, I will make that video and do a live demonstration where I've already funded a wallet with about 1,000 ADA to play around with, provide liquidity on a number of different tokens. What I'm going to do on this one is just talk you through it. Talk you through how to swap, basic things like just even connecting your wallet, providing liquidity, some of the risks associated with it, and so on and so forth. But what I want to do to start the video is talk about the recent price action. It's grim, ladies and gentlemen, and this is all part of the course. Cryptocurrency as a market, and the cryptocurrency within it, of course, are a part of that, is on a journey. And within that journey, there's going to be turbulence, there's going to be volatility. And if you can't stomach that, this is not the asset class for you. It's that volatility that offers such high rewards. Any kind of an emerging market, and we've looked at the dot-com boom, we've looked at many emerging markets across the board, not just the dot-com boom, the PC boom, etc., etc. They always start off very volatile, given the liquidity attached with the market and given the sort of new nature of the market. Then over time, that volatility will wane, and we've looked at the Amazon chart to kind of show you that's the kind of trajectory we think crypto's on. Crypto in terms of, or certainly blockchain in terms of a technology, is on one of the fastest adoption curves that we've seen, and I think that's going to continue, but there's a lot of volatility that comes with that. Now, lots of people message me going, okay, well, Cardano sold off. Cardano wasn't the driving factor for the sell-off. For those of you that aren't aware, Bitcoin tanked. You can see that Bitcoin, of course, is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships. Cardano, in terms of on a weekly basis, is actually doing far, far better than a number of other coins out there, which is why we actually swapped swapped half of my Ethereum and Bitcoin into Cardano, because I do think it will still outperform. But essentially, everything sold off. Your traditional market sold off. This is the S&P. This is the NASDAQ, and this, of course, is the FTSE, the top 100 stock index within the UK. So everything across the board sold off, and this is, of course, to do with the deflationary pressures that the Federal Reserve are threatening to impose. Part of the course, guys, the financial landscape, and it's why price predictions are often very hard to give, because we're in an ever-changing landscape, and we try and do the best to navigate through those waters. So that being said, and for those of you that don't watch my daily cryptocurrency market updates, they are 100% worth watching, because we not only tackle what takes place within the cryptocurrency realm, but we look at the external world around us, as we are very correlated to it, given the fact, very simple, and it's the same reason we didn't follow the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory and see a kind of parabolic end to the year that we were expecting, is because we have the same actors that are in the traditional world in our world, and they will take risk off in times of in riskier times, such as uncertainty surrounding federal policy and how that will affect markets, liquidity crunches, and so on and so forth, and add risk when the time suits. And that's really why Bitcoin and all these altcoins had such an epic run, was because, and if you divide the Bitcoin chart by M2, we're a lot further behind than the actual Bitcoin chart against the US dollar. What took place over here caused a lot of inflation to take place, and then we see a cooling off from that, and we're now seeing a battle take place, and a kind of catching up, if you will, from the Federal Reserve, the US dollar, with the currencies. But we'll see what happens. It's still uncertain whether they're going to do any of the things that they've said they're going to what scale, so on and so forth. But we'll keep you up to date on this channel. So for me personally, if I can get some cheaper Cardano, this is a technology that I believe in, which is why I can ride out such volatile dips. You need to be used to 50% pullbacks. and look at them as pullbacks in a macro bull market, rather than look at them as, you know, the world's ending and it's time to sell, in the same way that after 2018, or sorry, 2017's bull run was the best time to buy, etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying we're going into that sort of a situation. I don't think we are, but I'm just trying to sort of correlate everything, if you will. So one thing I want to note is with the SundaeSwap launch, and we did say in regards to total value locked, we were going to get over 100 million. We're halfway there now, essentially. So you've seen a lot of value added, and that's with the sort of congestion that we're seeing on the network. So there's still a lot more to come. Some very interesting factors. This is the total value locked in Cardano smart contracts. This was posted or highlighted to somebody that follows me on Twitter. I can't quite remember his Twitter handle, but I did repost it. So a big thank you to you if you're listening to the video. This is the total value locked in US dollars, is $128 million in TVL, which is total value locked across Cardano smart contracts. This is going to grow as well. Also, this is from Think Grow Crypto, a influencer, if you will, on the Twitter space in regards to Cardano. She said a new all-time high today for new ADAS wallets created, 24,778. So we're seeing growth across the network. We're really held hostage by the kind of macroeconomic landscape, or of course Bitcoin is, which weighs heavy on everybody in the crypto space's shoulders. Focus on these things, guys. If you, in terms of a cryptocurrency, for me, Cardano is one that I'm very confident in, certainly in a future perspective. So let's get into SundaeSwap. Also, the number of delegators, it wasn't that long ago we were only at 1 million delegators. Now we're at 1.1. So 1,120,000 delegators in a short period of time. Everything's moving in the right direction except the price. This will get realized at some point, in my opinion. And I can't help but it's definitely worth watching my earlier video where we talk about the fact that price is set on the margin, meaning price is set on the day via watch trading back and forth. And certainly in low volume time periods, you know, it's often a very unfair representation of actual value locked. So let's dive into SundaeSwap. That was quite a long explanation of everything, but certainly one that I thought was worth giving, given that I know some of you are sort of panicking. It's not nice to see the market in this kind of a state. What am I personally doing very quickly is I'm sort of standing back a little bit. I do have stablecoin ready to deploy into ADA. My ultimate goal is to accumulate as much Cardano and cryptocurrencies as possible, ready for when they do start to see adoption. I think by that time, we're going to be at a far higher price. So I don't want to catch the falling knife. Typically after this, it's like, you know, you don't want to jump into a shark-infested water when you can't see what's beneath you. You don't want to jump into a shark-infested water anyway. Bad comparison there, but you get the drift. It's better to kind of see what's around you before you take the plunge. SundaeSwap, how do you use it? Now, I am absolutely going to be doing a live demonstration with money. I funded a wallet. I put 1,000 ADA in there just to play around and show you guys how to do everything. The first thing you're going to want to do, and DEXs are generally safe to interact with. I've never had a wallet wiped from a DEX as long as you're using the or on the correct website and the correct app. I have lost money in terms of providing liquidity, but I'll talk to you about that. The very first thing you guys want to do is come over to here to connect your wallet. Now, I'm assuming that most of you have already created a ccvault.io wallet or a NAMI wallet, which are the two wallets that SundaeSwap cater to. So you click connect wallet, you will then click accept, and then you will go on to NAMI wallet. Press will appear up here. You can then gain access and start to interact with the DEX. So the first thing that you want to do, and it's really why DEXs exist, and you can see the huge notice here from SundaeSwap. Important notice, the network is extremely congested at the moment. Swaps may fail or not go through until congestion decreases. Please be patient. They told you, I've seen a lot of people say that it was a huge fail, etc., etc. They literally told you this was going to happen. So it's your own fault for not following what's going on. It's not that they failed. The network, Cardano as a blockchain, hasn't switched off, unlike Solana, which would definitely switch off with this amount of volume, and they continue to do so. And have also, I think the CEO actually came out and said it doesn't really matter if they switch off. That's how dumb they think people are. Anyway, so to swap, what you're basically going to do, and what I will show you is, you can see this is my balance over here. I think I maybe had a little bit left over, so I've got 1,399 ADA that I've just got sat in this wallet ready to show you how to swap. what you're essentially going to do is swap into a token. So you've got the list here. Now, for the purpose of liquidity, I'm not going to actually swap because my transaction isn't going to go through in the time span of this video. For the purpose of liquidity, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want, okay, so the price of liquid has obviously gone up slightly. You're going to want an equal amount. So 65 ADA will get you roughly 1 liquid token. Now that's in terms of a monetary value. 65 ADA is equivalent to 1 liquid token. You can check the prices. If you come over here on the home page, you can check the prices here, guys, as they move up and as they move down. You'll also, there will be data attached with this, but I will do a fully in-depth guide on everything when I'm doing a live practical example. I'm just talking you through everything in this one. So you go over to swap, you select your token, we'll use liquid as an example, and then you click, once you've entered the amount you want to buy, so we'll say 65 ADA, which is equivalent to around about 1 liquid. Reason we're doing this is because if you're going to provide liquidity, it needs to be an equal pair in terms of a monetary value. So if you have $100 worth of ADA, you need $100 worth of liquid. And this is when impermanent loss and other things come into play. You then click swap. You will then get a summary. You can play around with your slippage. I saw people, please do not do this, putting 100% slippage just to make their transactions go through. You can choose whatever slippage you want, typically 1%, 5%. You can go up to 3. On some exchanges, I've gone up to 5 if I've been desperate to get into a token with very low liquidity. But a lot of these pairs that you're going to be getting into, once the congestion's died down, you can put, you should be fine on 1%, you know, anything up to sort of 3%, but even 3% to high end. 1% you should be fine to actually get in and facilitate the transaction. Slippage just means, so if they're quoting you for 65 ADA 1 LQ token, there's a 1% slippage there, if that makes sense. So you know, you're allowing for that. So in actual fact, there's 1%, it could go over or below, but typically it goes over. It's very, very rare that it goes below. You'll then click swap and it will give you a breakdown of what's going on. You'll then click on order swap. Then it will ask you to sign the transaction. Once you've signed that transaction, the swap will go through and you will then receive the liquid tokens and you would have given the 65 ADA tokens over. So you'll have 1 liquid in opposition for your 65 ADA. Now, that happens. There is a 5%, and this is something that I'm going to need to look into. What is the scooper fee is 2.5 ADA. Why is that set to 2.5 ADA? Because I'm not sure. It doesn't need to be that high in my opinion. I get that Cardano has a base layer fee for obviously the stake pools, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. But I don't understand why scoopers get 2.5. Now that they're saying here it's because of the high transactions fees. Don't get me wrong, they are doing a service, but I don't want scoopers to essentially take on the role of Ethereum miners, in the sense that they make a lot of profit unnecessarily. Now the reason I'm saying this is because of DEX, and I've used other DEXs that are unbelievably cheap to use. So I think that this is just because at the moment the temporarily high due to a mainnet congestion. So it's that's the reason for it. But we'll see how this irons out. It's something I'm definitely going to do some more research into to see if this comes down or not. So you'll get your breakdown. It costs you 5 ADA currently to swap. There's a slippage chance of 1%, and that's roughly what you'll get with the 1% slippage to the downside. That's what it's estimating, but with the 1% slippage, you may end up with that. You'll then click order. You'll have to sign the transaction with your password that you set up, not your seed phrase, your password for using it on the desktop or well, it's only desktop at the moment. And then, of course, you'll get the swap. Then what you can do is go over to, sorry, it looks like there's no LP assets found yet. So this is liquidity. We've got no LPs yet. Liquidity providing tokens, which you get as a receipt essentially for providing liquidity. You can click provide liquidity. You can go with ADA, and you can go on your crosspair, which of course I don't have at the moment. But to trial that, what you can do, and you don't want to create a pool on a small amount, or I'm certainly not going to be creating a pool on a small amount. I may do on a larger amount against one of these pairs. But if you go over to more over here, you can see swap, and you can see provide liquidity. If you click provide liquidity, it will essentially, so this is liquid to ADA. We want the reverse essentially. So if we click, it doesn't really matter, to be fair. If we click provide liquidity, we're going to put 65 ADA in, and then you'll have your one token that you've already swapped. You'll then choose your fee, which typically is this one, and then you will click provide liquidity. And essentially, you will get an LP token, which stands for liquidity provider token, in return as a receipt that you can then stake. So in the same way that with the swap, we click provide liquidity, you'll then get asked to sign the transaction, and so on and so forth. But I will do a lot longer introduction to it all, also showing you how you can then go and stake your LP token to earn SundaeSwap. Because remember, on, I believe it's Sunday, LQ, World Mobile and Cards, they're actually offering additional Sunday as a reward. So not only will you get 3%, 0.3% fee for providing liquidity, you'll also get SundaeSwap token issued to you. And if you want to view your orders, if you have put an order through and you're wondering why it's taking so long to process, you can see here it's saying processing orders from about 10 hours ago. So this is why I'm not doing this live, because I haven't got the time to sit here and wait for this to go through. However, when the congestion dies down, I'll be doing a far more in-depth guide. This was just to sort of talk you through things. DEXs are typically very safe. The only risk is involved with providing liquidity, because and I'll very quickly show you an example, again using LQ. But what I'll do is with the 1,000 ADA that I have, I will, or 1,300, I can't quite remember what I put in here to show you guys. I will actually do numerous pulls of providing liquidity, and then we'll keep up to date on what sort of rewards they're generating and so on and so forth, as an experiment separate to my own strategy that I'm doing, just as a public strategy for you guys to see what's going on. Now, the issue with providing liquidity is you're providing equal monetary value on both sides. Yeah. So and it's called impermanent loss that can become permanent loss when you decide to redeem, to give your LP token back and redeem your underlying tokens that you provided initially, is if 65 ADA is worth one LQ token, if ADA goes up in value, let's say, or if let's say that let's do something different. If liquid goes up, doubles in price, so 2 liquid is now worth 130 ADA, what the pool will do is it will get rid of that extra 1 liquid, so that you've still, because you've only got 65 ADA in there, so it has to be an equal pair at all times. So it will adjust, the AMM will adjust essentially accordingly. And then providing that stays the same, you've just lost essentially 1 liquid because the price has gone up, doubled. So theoretically you'd have 2 liquids worth of ADA, if you see what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So the pools will adjust, so that impermanent loss occurs essentially when the pools adjust, so that it keeps the equal monetary value. So the idea is you want not that volatile tokens, so that the impermanent loss, yes, you are going to incur some, undoubtedly. You'll be very lucky not to. And then, of course, that will become permanent loss when you redeem. But what you don't want to do, but the reason you provide liquidity is because of the rewards it generates, basically. So you're almost willing to risk that impermanent loss. But I'll show you this all as a practical example once the congestion's died down. I think we all agree that you don't want me sat here in front of you for 10 hours waffling on about various things, just to wait for a transaction to go through. So that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. It was just a short and sweet one. I hope you get what I'm saying about the impermanent loss thing. Basically, the pools have to adjust so that you've got an equal measure of both. You can actually add liquidity to one side, but I'll have to figure out how SundaeSwap are doing that. I know other DEXs allow you to do that, but all in good time. So that's really all I have for you guys. Remember, markets are markets. You've got to understand that, and ultimately, you've got to take what comes with it. If you've done your due diligence, certainly somebody like myself, one reason I'm so confident holding on to my ADA at this price, and not panic selling or anything of the sort, is because I believe in the journey that we're on. I think the journey, in order to get to the destination, there's going to be a little bit of turbulence and volatility attached with it. All I have for you in the video, guys. Quick thanks again to everybody staking to our pool. We minted another block like that with this epoch, and we minted 5. We actually paid out, I can show you down here, 16% last epoch, which is insane, guys. You know, the pool's doing extremely well, and it's because of you guys. So a massive thank you. Join the Discord. The Discord is, there's a link to it in the description, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, guys.